Episode 9, Who's French Podcast. We got Mr. Myles Chavez on.
What's up, guys?
If you guys don't know who he is, you're going to find out a little bit more about him, and I'm sure I am too. Great musician, frontman for the Riddims, Albuquerque, New Mexico. As we're hanging out talking about, before we get started, the big things they have coming up now, and in the colder months, coming into the warm months,
they got
some good stuff coming along. But yeah, episode 9. Thank you for coming on, dude.
Oh, Jesus, there we go.
Boom.
Nectar of the gods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Heck yeah, dude.
Cheers, man. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Yeah. Okay. I was hearing pre-band you're in now stories, right?
Okay.
So when you were younger, how old were you when you first started getting into music? Is any of your family into music? I know you have family in music, but dad, anyone like that? No?
Nope. No, not really, to be honest. Let's see. I have some cousins now that play.
Mm-hmm.
They're like my age. But we're all kind of first generation doing this, so our parents never really played or nothing. I picked it up one day, actually, just kind of by a coinky dink. I was like 9, and my mom just had one. She just had a guitar. I think she was trying to pick it up and play. And, I have a younger mom, so she was probably in her late 20s at the time, so she was doing her thing, trying to learn. And I just asked her one day. I don't know. I was just like, can I pick that up?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, sure. And I just never put it down. I was something about it, and I just loved it, and boom, started going from there. And then I started playing when I was 12, live shows.
Dude, That's sick.
Yeah.
First band? How old?
First band that I started, 14, and I was a death metal band, and it was actually a pretty good band for a long time. We played for about 8 years.
Dude.
7 years, yeah, it was fun.
Sick.
Me and my guitarist Donovan now played in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude,
we
that's
were both in death metal band.
sick.
Long hair and fucking playing Deans and stuff.
Heck,
it was fun, dude.
yeah, dude.
Great time. My brother-in-law was our singer.
Yeah.
And we did pretty good, to be honest.
Cool.
Yeah. We played some really good shows and played a lot all through high school. We played a place, it's not there anymore, it's called Misty's Hideaway. So, I'd have to play and then leave. They'd sneak me beer in the back and shit like that. And it was fun. Played a lot of the Compound in Laramie Square when it was there. And I did that for a long time.
Dude.
That was my shit.
That's
I loved
cool.
it. Yeah.
So I was going to say, I knew you were in a heavy band, but I know it was that young.
Yeah,
that.
It was in my younger days.
Dude. So, was it you who started the Riddims?
So it was me and Chris.
Okay.
So actually what happened was my band, Morbid Machine, was the band. I was in the death metal band. We had ended around the same time that Chris's band, Shot by the Breeze, which was kind of like a reggae ska band, had ended. Both bands kind of ended around the same time, and I always loved reggae growing up. Always loved reggae. Always loved, even roots reggae. I loved Barrington Levy and Peter Tosh and stuff growing up. Just cause no one ever really got me into it. I think I just kind of heard it one day and got in it. But growing up, no one I really knew was into reggae. Mm-hmm. Everyone I knew was either into hip hop or death metal. So I kind of had that to myself. But when I met Chris, he was in this band. I was like, dang, this is awesome. So when they broke up, me and him kind of started jamming just for fun. Because I had these songs that I wrote that I felt had a reggae-esque vibe to them. And we were just playing one day. And our friend Mike from the Big Spank, who's an awesome band, by the way.
Shout out Mike.
Yeah, shout out Mike. Love the Big Spank. And he came by my house, I think, maybe to buy some weed or something. And he had heard our music, and he was like, wow, this is good. You guys want to play a show? And I hadn't played a show in a year, maybe a year and a half. And so I was aching for a show. And so was Chris, so we were it was just me and him. And Donnie at the time too, because me and Chris were kind of playing, and then we needed some rhythm, so I told Donnie come play. So we were like, fuck, we don't have a band. And he was like, just get some guys together and play. So we said, all right, and we kind of scrambled. We got our old friend Tanner, who was a friend of Chris's, and then a sax player. And Chris was on drums, I was singing, playing guitar, and kind of threw it together. Recorded a little quick EP in a studio down on Nob Hill somewhere in a basement, and it's been a wild ride since then. Yeah, it's been almost 10 years now.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Dude, It's funny, like, you look back whenever, probably from the beginning of that to now, you're like, oh, it wasn't that long. And then you're like, wait.
Holy shit.
Oh, shoot, it has been quite a while.
It's wild, dude.
It goes by so fast.
It really does.
Yeah. So, how many albums you guys got out now?
So, we had, we kind of had like a weird putting out music style. Because at first, we were just so into playing shows.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what we were focused on, was just playing and playing and playing. And we had this little EP out that we put out that we were kind of just like riding. And it never really occurred to me to like keep releasing music. I was just so into playing live. Mm. But we ended up doing a couple EPs. Like we did the Homegrown one, which was just like some basement
classic,
shit.
Dude.
And then we did I don't know, what was that one called? I think maybe it was just like a Cell Tower, the Riddims EP. And then we did the Homegrown one at Central Root, which was all right. And then we just did this last one that we have out called Grounded. Is it is a good album. I like the music. The songs were well written. We worked really hard on them. Production-wise, we didn't get a lot of time to do it the way we wanted to. Mm-hmm. So we're going to work on maybe re-recording some of those. So at the moment, we might have not any albums out because we're probably going to pull what we have as far as albums, because the last singles we have we're really proud of. We love Friday Night, love Smoke by Myself, love Let the Music Play, and then love Steady, the one that we just released. And we love These Vibes and See You Again. Mm-hmm. So right there, all those singles is pretty much, that's like 7 songs, you know? Yeah. So we're going to leave those up, take our album off, and try and get in the studio and put out a full-length album that technically isn't our first one, but it's going to be the one that we're trying to do it the right way that we want. And we're excited for that. I'm stoked.
Dude.
Cannot wait.
So the first thing we recorded was acoustic, live, at Central Root.
You know how it is, man. Yeah. You just go in there and lay it down. You're just excited to get something out.
Yeah.
You just want people to hear.
And I told Gertis, dude, I was like, we don't want it, maybe a simple mix, nothing fancy. Yeah. We just want you. This is how we want it. And he's like, oh, you guys, sure, if that's what you want.
So like, here you go. Hell yeah.
So we all sat like in a little circle, a little triangle, and we just played it through. I mean, we cranked it out. It was like a handful of hours. I mean, the whole album.
Yeah, it's fun, man. So that's our stuff for a while. So now we're working with some good producers and putting out production the right way. So I want to have a full album together of songs that are like that. Yeah. That quality instead of just singles.
Like just your favorite ones? Dude,
yes. Yeah.
That'd be sick.
So I'm excited for that.
Dude, yeah. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff together in the past.
Yes, I miss it.
And that was like the simpler times, it feels like, right?
Before COVID, you never realize, what's that song? You don't know what you got.
Yeah.
Straight up, dude. It was pre-COVID was amazing. We were playing a show. All of us. It was like shows fucking every weekend, everywhere. You could get a show anytime, and it was just shows everywhere. I loved it, man. I miss that. That was my favorite shit. So hopefully it'll get back to that.
I'm sure it will. It'll take a little time. I mean, it's gotten way better even now.
Yeah, it's even now it's starting to warm up a little bit.
But have you guys ever done Night of the Living cover bands? I'm sure you have.
So I've done it. The Riddims haven't done it. And it's just because of like a time. It always ends up being a timing thing for us. Anytime that comes up, we're always setting up for our winter stuff. So we try and focus on practicing for tour and stuff. But I did Night of the Living cover bands with my friend Jimmy Climbs, and we did Led Zeppelin, and it was fun. I dressed up like a chubby Jimmy Page.
Sick.
And it was fucking awesome. It was cool to get up there and rip it. Blast.
Dude, I
packed wall to wall. Everyone looks crazy in their costumes. Yeah. Everyone's playing. It's like, intense the whole night because there's like 30 bands.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. I had a blast.
Since we got into music, I started playing music with the boys and stuff. I'm like, dude, that seems like so like. And we never really thought about it. We probably had shows booked, and that's the thing. Like the bummer of like you miss out on shows because you have shows sometimes.
Exactly.
And you're like, dang, this sucks. So we could be.
Not that it was toss them up there and be like, oh.
Yeah, and so I'm like, nah, we never got around to doing it. But every year it comes up, I'm like, dude, that seems like so much fun. You want to do it, dude? It's fun.
Yeah, those are blast. I love. That's my favorite month at Launchpad.
Yeah.
Watching all the cover bands.
And that's the thing, dude. You don't realize how many bands there are until you see a lineup of something like that, and it's just like, dude, nonstop. And you're like, dude, I didn't even know that there's so many bands.
Every weekend in October. Yeah. It's awesome.
And I'm like, dude, from the clips I see, I'm like, it's all pretty good, dude.
Oh, everyone kills it. Yeah. Like, everyone takes that shit very seriously.
Yeah.
It's cool as fuck. I love it.
It's like, dude. So like maybe one of these years we'll get around to it. But touring, dude, you guys have done a lot. Before COVID, I remember seeing you guys. You might have been in Havasu. You guys play Havasu?
I don't know if we played Havasu, but we go through Arizona all the time.
Yeah, you guys played somewhere that was like near the water, dude. Probably California.
Oh, it was the Arizona Festival in Arizona. That's what
was
it
it?
was. Yep.
Okay, and I'm like, dude, I saw that. I'm like, dude, that looks like cool spot.
Super dope.
Looks
festival.
like super cool
awesome.
people.
Yeah.
There was like a video, like all the homies on stage, right?
Yeah, we got in trouble for that. Almost broke the stage. Put the stage into the lake.
Did you?
We had everyone on the stage with us, and security was like, "No, it's too much."
Oh no!
But it was a blast.
Yeah.
That was a fun set.
I was like, dude, shows like that. I'm like, dude, that looks like so much fun.
Living the dream, man.
Yeah.
So
what do you guys got coming up now? You guys headed out. When did you say?
So we're looking at heading out after the new year. We're just doing a lot of local stuff right now.
Okay.
And we're trying to get our chops up as far as writing music right now. We've been releasing singles. The last one, Love Steady's gotten a lot of love.
Sick.
We've been putting a lot of work into production and getting what we want. Shout out to Big G too out there in California. But that's really our thing right now, is just trying to hyper focus on writing. And we're blessed enough to be going out to 17th Street Studio in January to record our album, which is, I was telling you earlier, the studio where Sublime recorded. And a lot of really cool bands have recorded there. Dirty Heads, a bunch of people. A lot of my friends in California record there now. Great people. Lou, the guy who owns, is an awesome dude. It's a legendary spot. I'm super honored to go over there and make some music there. So we want to do it the right way, And we have a lax style about doing things. So we're trying to be real,
Tighten it up.
by the book, kind of getting our ducks in a row about this stuff, so that when we go out there, we can smash it the right way and make it everything we want. So we've just been really working hard on that, and that's our whole thing, trying to grow the brand too, getting everything legit, working on merch, new merch designs, doing photo shoots, so that this next year, after we push out this album, we could really hit the road the way we want to, because we want to get out on the road again to start touring again.
Dude, that's cool, man. Yeah, I've seen like new merch all the time, new stuff, dude.
And we're blessed, man. Cool. We hit the road even during COVID. We were out there playing. We just played Sea Legs out there in Huntington, some months back. We've been going out there playing San Diego a lot, Arizona and stuff. So we're really blessed. Even through all the craziness, we've still gotten to play shows. We haven't stopped. We played shows the whole time. Yeah. Even during the thick of COVID, we were playing little backyard parties and doing all kind of stuff.
Dude, those are always fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think those are like...
The music must go on. So
Dude, those are like probably like the least pressure shows. You know what I mean? Like you just go, everyone's there to have a good time.
It did feel like it was kind of a throwback, because we were kind of playing these, we were doing these little shows, and it was fun. Yeah. It felt like more low-key again.
Yeah, like before it got busy.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, speaking of like that Sublime stuff, it's funny, I think we had a blowout in the van, or maybe it was leaking air or something. So whenever we were headed up to, probably headed to Oregon, and we stopped somewhere in California, and I'm like, I didn't even know where we were. Right, stopped at a discount tire, and they fixed the tire for us, maybe 2 or something like that. And then I got on like, where are we? So I got on like my maps. I'm like, dude, we're in Garden Grove.
That's awesome.
I was like, Sublime, and I thought of it right away. I'm like, dude, heck yeah. And I was like, that's cool. That's a good. I like that song. But I was like, dude, that's funny. Like. Yeah. The songs are written about these places that you don't really pay attention to, and you're like, oh shoot,
here I am.
This is where they're talking about, right?
That's kick ass, dude.
But yeah, dude, the road's fun, and we're talking about like the road being harder than most people think it is.
It definitely is, yeah.
And then you don't necessarily think about, like you said, like the food, bathrooms, laundry. Dude, you don't think about that stuff because you just don't, and then until you need it or need to do laundry, you're like, oh shoot. No one thought of this, right? We just wanted to come out, right? Yeah. And that's always how it is, and I think that makes it kind of fun too. But yeah, dude, it's super cool to see people. Dude, then you look at guys like Buddha and stuff who are doing it, and they're still going and still cranking out good stuff, and
consistency, man.
All the homies, dude. Everyone, for as long as I've been in it, is still going strong, dude. Yeah, and I feel like you guys, the Riddims are a big probably. Influence to a lot of people. Like there are probably some bands that I've never seen because they probably started during COVID, and then now I see them like playing with you guys. I'm like, oh, I have no idea who they are, but I'm like, that's funny. Like to take a step back, I'm sure you probably do this. You're like, dude, like we were these guys, right?
Yo,
and now we're here.
It
right?
is crazy to see that. We have a few bands like that we're really tight with, and yeah, you kind of see it's like, oh shit. Now I'm there. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah, it's cool though. I love it, man. You know, we're blessed. New Mexico in general is a fucking amazing place for music, for art. Such a hidden gem.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh, yeah,
we just kind of keep it all to ourselves.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, some people are a little scared.
That's our thing. We're trying to get out there, you know, and spread that gift for everyone to see it. But
we're good though.
Yeah, we're chilling. It's hard.
Yeah, you're like we're not
good shows here.
Yeah,
real.
But yeah, no, that's cool, dude. And going back to what I said, like you probably are like for those guys, you know, those bands you have jam with, you guys, you know, they probably been playing music a long time, and they just kind of figured out a way in, which is kind of how you got to do it. You got to figure your little niche and meet someone and talk to people, and they did. And now they're opening up for you guys and doing all this stuff. And then now I'll see like their name attached to other shows. I'm like, dude, like that's how it starts, right?
That's how it is, man. That's
the
domino effect.
Yeah, and
it's
I'm
a beautiful
like,
thing.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It's awesome.
Because like what I always told the boys, I'm like, dude, the worst someone could say is no. And
it's
then like,
true.
and then give it a little bit of time, and then ask again.
It's very true, man.
Because you know, things come up, shows have to get canceled. You know, something comes up. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry, we got a bail. You know, a date 2 days before show. So this whatever it was came up. You know, I can help you find a band to fill in for us, or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, you know, in some of those situations, like a new band that's like, hey, you know, if you need anything, let me know.
I'm here.
I'm here. And then like, boom, hey, fell
that's
through. You want to come by and jam? They're like, heck yeah. And then you're like, oh, that's what I was telling Spanish Jimmy was like, we did that, and people would be like, oh, you know, we don't know. Your brother's kind of young. I think Trent was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just hear it. And after that, if you never want to book us again, never book us again. Yeah. But just like, I was like, probably more for them. Like they're good. Like just give it a shot, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we had. I mean, it's even now with Trent and Ethan, the guy we have jamming with us now, both underage still, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like whenever that changes, like the more doors will open up, because like, you know, Tyler and I, well, obviously me, but like now Tyler's 24 yesterday. So like he's old enough to like go into places and stuff. I'm like, dude, like it's kind of like limiting, right?
Yeah.
You know, some places, like I always wanted to, I told them like a super cool spot was, I don't know if it's still around, dude. Zinc downstairs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that little downstairs.
Yeah, a little
like, dude,
downstairs, a little niche in the corner was
yeah, I'm like, dude, that place. I went and saw. They made Moon Thieves there.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a cool little spot. Like it's just nothing fancy. Just go and jam, and it's small. A few people pack it out, right?
Dude, nice and chill.
And so I told boys, I'm like, dude, because I hit them up, and they're like, oh no, you have to be 21. I'm like, damn.
Got it. Yeah. Fuck,
and so I'm like, dude, once that happens, like. We'll go jam those cool little places that we've been waiting for all these years. And then like even like told boys like, dude, Sister Bar is a blast.
Sister Bar is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love. There's a lot of cool little places now opening up here in town that you can get in. It used to be just Launchpad, El Rey, Moonlight.
Yeah.
Where the venue used to play. Now there's all kind of cool places.
Yeah.
All these breweries opening up. All these like kind of high-end little restaurants that want acoustic little small setups.
Yeah.
It's a perfect place, man, for bands like 3P and Buddha, and even, you know, we'll scale down and go play those shows sometimes.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to change it up.
Like you said, you did Night of the Living cover bands. Do you still do stuff like that just to kind of work on stuff?
Yeah, you know what? For a while, you get like hyper-focused on stuff, which is great. It's good to be like that. Mm. But then I think, at least for me personally, it's like you focus so hard on it, and it becomes such a monotonous thing that you start to lose attention to detail because it's so consistent in your mind. It becomes just like muscle memory to instead of something that you're focused on, it's just something you do now. Mm-hmm. And in that, sometimes you form bad habits. I do, so it's good to change it up every now and again. So I'll go do solo shows, and you know, I'll play with other, you know, friends who ask me to play. Sometimes I'll jam with Munira or Jimmy Climbs, and you know, it's just fun. Go out there. They're amazing musicians too here in town. Mm-hmm. It's good to change it up. Get out there, bust your chops, and see what's up, and get on stage with some new vibe too. Because that's another thing is like you're doing the same thing with the same people for so long, you don't understand that you're you're creating just comfortability in one area. So playing with other people helps you, kind of humbles you as a musician. You go, oh shit, you know, like this kind of style is a little challenging for me. Or it's for me, what's hard is playing guitar, because I'm used to doing, because before I was just playing guitar, right? When I was younger, I was playing lead guitar. Didn't have a mic in front of me. I would just play the leads and kind of do my thing. Then I had to learn how to, like, say hi to the crowd, because all of a sudden I'm singing and stuff. I was doing frontman stuff. So I had to adjust to that and, like, try and, you know, always interact with the crowd and stuff. Now I have to unlearn that again whenever I'm playing with other bands where I'm just playing guitar. I, like, catch myself. After we're done, I, like, go to say something in the mic and I'm like, oh, wait.
Oh, not the time.
Yeah, actually, I don't got to say anything right now. Forgot. Yeah, because, like, there's people like, hey, you guys feeling? I'm like, oh, shit, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm used to saying that. Yeah. So it's kind of, like, different in that aspect, but it's nice.
Yeah.
Because then you really see all sides of the stage. You know what I mean? So I like going out there and doing my thing. And then, too, it's good for us because we have a lot of people who ask us to go play these smaller, like Alvado's a new place, Duke City Beaches. And sometimes we're 7 guys, you know? So it's hard to get, you know, and too in Albuquerque and New Mexico, because it's a smaller state, there's not a lot of people who could pay a lot, you know. When you're out there in California, every block is a venue and there's tourists all year round, so people can pay, and they will. It's a little bit harder out here, so it's hard for 7 dudes to come out and set up a whole show and do a whole thing for like $200-$300, you know. But I'll tell the venues like, hey man, if my band won't play, 2 or 3 of us will come, or if all else fails, I'll come do a solo show and play our music and kind of do my own thing on guitar. And I've never been told no yet, and that's nice. You know, I've done a few solo shows, and representing the Riddims, will go play our music and stuff, and people still receive it well. We've gotten a lot of fans, new fans, just from that. People are like, what is that song? And I'll tell them, it's actually a full band song. Check out my band, you know?
Yeah.
So kind of learning. You feel guilty at first almost because you're so, like, used to just this band, just this. But you realize that the more you cultivate yourself as an individual musician, it's only going to benefit whatever you do and whoever you play with. You know, so it's good. I say to everyone, whoever plays, get out there and play as much as you can. For who you can, when you can, you know, all the time.
And that's how it has to be. Like, there's really no other way, right? Like, whenever I think of, like, early GB days, like, dude, we were playing on, like we played it for no money. We played on a sidewalk for the Day of the Tread.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, and that was just a blast. And then afterwards, they had all the bands go play at Civic Plaza. Like, this is wild. No money, no nothing. Like, this is what it's about. And, like, we did a handful of those shows for no money, for 5 people. And to this day, like, dude, we always say, like, if you ask any of the boys, what was your favorite show that you've probably played? Like, people would think the Whiskey. Yeah. But I wouldn't say it's Whiskey, dude. There used to be this place called the Rogue Bar in Scottsdale.
I played Rogue Bar. Dude, in Scottsdale. We played Rogue Bar.
Small, dude, small. We did it we played it 2 or 3 times. The last time we were there, the guy who was booking us, the owner, super cool dude, and he's like, hey man, you guys came through on a slow night, blah blah. Like, oh dude, you're good, not a big deal, you know. And he's like, the bands I found to open up for you guys, he's like, they're not really like the biggest in town. I'm like, dude, you're good. You don't have to apologize for anything.
We'll just, you know, it is what it is.
And so we jammed that, and I always told the boys, our great uncle is pretty much who got us into music. And he always said, it doesn't matter how many people are there. It's like, you never know who someone is.
Very true, bro.
And he goes, because I was when we booked our first tour, and we always make a joke of it, because we went to his house like a week before we left at the road, and we're like, Uncle, we have no idea what we're doing. He's like, just do what you've been doing. He goes, but he told us 2 things. If you ever feel like you're not having fun, you're not enjoying yourself, take a break, because you'll burn yourself out so bad that you don't enjoy it, and there's no coming back from that.
It's true.
And so we're like, okay. And so we always have done that. If it feels like, dude, what are we, like, meh, like doing the same old stuff over and over and over, it's like, oh, I'll take a break or whatever it is. We've done that, because it gets like that.
It does, man.
And then he said, yeah, you never know who someone is. So if there's 5 people in a room, you play like they're scouting you out for a record label, right? And you're like, shoot. And so that night at Rogue Bar, dude, there's probably 7, 8 people in there. And we were all like, dude, this kind of sucks. But then I was like, remember Uncle said, dude, you never know who, like, those 4 guys at the bar, there could be someone. Yep. That was probably the best show to this day that we've ever played.
Really?
Best.
Yeah,
Killed it.
It's funny, man.
Killed it.
Works out that way sometimes. Yeah. It really does.
And then afterwards, they gave us like $5 tip. Like, you guys have a good night. Good luck on the road. And we're like, damn. We're kind of hoping you were someone.
That got us 2 blocks up.
Yeah, we make it down the road now. But yeah, dude, it's hard to stay. For me, also personally, I don't know about the boys. Like, it's hard to stay motivated, right? Because like you said, you get in that routine, and it becomes like just like you said, muscle memory, right? And then you're just going to do it, and you're like, oh, I remember when we were doing it for probably less money, less shows, all this stuff, and now you're like, dude, you're getting money, and you have a bunch of shows, but you're
the heart kind of gets out of it. Yeah, you know, it's funny. The universe doesn't let you have it all ever, man. If you're having a blast, you're usually making no fucking money. You're struggling to get by. The times when you're making $1,200 for an hour, you walk off and you're like, God damn, I'm tired. I'm just fucking wanting to go home and chill, and I don't even want to play tomorrow night kind of vibe. It's funny how it does that to you. The COVID really was a hard time, dude. And I think the hardest thing was kind of relating to that is that you sometimes on the opposite end of that, and you guys were on the grind too. You guys were at shows. All of us were playing all the time.
Dude, like 3 a weekend, 2 a weekend.
All the time, double headers, bro. Like, you know, you're playing a wedding in the morning and then you're playing, you know, headlining Launchpad at night or something. So sometimes, you know, we were doing that, and right before COVID popped off, we had show every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then, you know, practice twice a week. Then we're going on tour, we're recording, we're doing that. We were fucking going. And I think that sometimes whenever you take a break from that, all of a sudden you do this thing where you go, oh, shit, now I can take a breather. But then that turns into, like, you think it's a relieving thing, but that can be a sickness of not going back into the grind. Because, you know, it's just like eating your vegetables. It's easy to just, like, when you know how it is when you're a musician, you know what the fuck you're doing 6 months down the road. Like, you know,
planned so far out.
You know, that's why time goes so far, like, fast for musicians, because I know what I'm doing for 8 months. You know what I mean? I know that I'm playing here, like, I know exactly what I'm doing. So you get, like, when you don't have that, all of a sudden you kind of go, oh shit, I could do whatever, and then you want to go do all this stuff, and it's hard to come back to that, like,
to get back to it.
You know what I'm saying? But for us, like, you know, getting back to it was more just being like, look, who knows what is going to happen with everything that's going on. Let's just do whatever we do. We had all these goals set up. We had all this whole thing set up, and let's not, like, you know, sweep it under the rug, but let's just fucking play. Because, you know, and sometimes you get so like, oh, okay, well, now we're here. Well, now we're here. 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 You're trying to always elevate that. You forget that you just want to play sometimes. Like, you just love to play. So we were just getting together. At practice was usually always a thing of like, tonight we're working on this, and that. We have this coming up. We need to focus on this, and that. It was very blackboard, black and white, concise what we're doing and stuff. And we just went back to the basics of just meeting up, smoking some weed, chilling, plugging in, and just being like, I had this cool idea, and just jamming. You know what I mean? Dude, and that's like the way. That's because, you know, just like, you know how it is in bands. It's just like having a girlfriend. You get a 2-year hump, a 6-year hump. You just get these times where you're like, what are we even doing? Yeah. And it's just like how, you know what I mean? In a relationship, I don't even know I love it. Why we're even in this anymore and shit. It's like, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So you have to be like, all right, well, let's go back to why we all got together. Yeah. And started playing and shit. And you have to treat it like, I always tell the guys, I'm like, when people ask me, like, how many girlfriends do you have? I'm like, oh, I have 7. I have 7 girlfriends, man. 6 of them are guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because my band, you know, that's how it is, man. It's a relationship. You have to cultivate it every day. You have to, you know, people change. People's lives come into play. You know, and to keep you guys wanting to do it, it just always has to stay genuine. But that's the hard thing, is like, you think genuineness comes from some type of complicated goal. But it's really just playing. Just making sounds, and then people and the world around you responds to it. And that's the best way to go about it, you know? So it's crazy how music, it twists and turns you, bro. Dude, 100%. Really does. Yeah, dude, that's funny. I mean, I guess my situation's a little bit different because they're brothers, right? People always ask, like, oh, it must be so much easier being in a band with your brothers than strangers and friends. I'm like, no. No, because I could choke him. Yeah, dude. And I don't feel bad about putting him in a full Nelson right now. Dude, and that's how it is. Like,
there were some fights that were just like, nah, dude, this is not happening right now, right? And then, with Pendejos, I'm like, we never argued about anything.
Yeah,
like
chill.
nothing. That wasn't. I mean, granted, we weren't like doing huge shows or whatever it was. We were just going and jamming. We always had fun, and I enjoyed those shows a lot because the entire time, it was years. I think we did for like 3 years, 4 years. We never practiced. Every time we just like, what do you want to jam?
Together, fucking jam.
What do you want to jam? All right, let's do that. And people ask us, even GB, and for a long time, up until like probably before COVID, we never practiced unless we had like an album release or something. Because I'm like, dude, I wanted to like, we're playing a lot of the same songs, but if someone comes to see us multiple times, they'll say, oh, you guys changed something.
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah, organic kind of.
Yeah, and so I was like, we didn't practice unless there was a major show, which probably kind of hurt us, but it made it fun too. Like it became like, we don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it changed it up a little bit, but I was like, no. And even like now, we brought out our buddy E and great guitarist, dude. Classically trained. He's a bad dude. But he's like, do we need to practice? And I'm like, you're right, dude.
Like, fuck, all right, let's do some work then.
Yeah. And it's dude. Right. And I'm like, I guess we can. Right? And but yeah, dude, it's funny. Like, the relationships in the band are tough, dude. I'm shooting with 7 dudes.
It's a lot, man.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but I would say like the stage, that 45 minutes or hour that you're playing on stage is fucking everything, bro. Because, it solves it all. And I realized that a little while in is like, I think I fully realized that this last year. We went and played this place called Sea Lakes on the beach, and it's in Huntington Beach, California, and it's like a dream. It's funny because our California friends, I'm learning this, but when you're from California, it's right there, the beach, and like everything is right there, and you're just here, and you just kind of, everyone's got to work to get where they're at, but the perspective is so different because when we were there, getting off that stage and playing on that stage, I looked at the dudes, and before we left, I was like, this is the first moment where I felt like we made it. Because when you're a kid, especially, growing up in New Mexico, you feel like you're in a flyover state. Who the fuck knows about this place? So thinking about coming up out of a place like this and getting to a spot in your life where you're playing on the beach in Huntington, California. Mm-hmm. You're literally looking out at the ocean. It's a beautiful California day, and you have a full crowd of people in front of you dancing in the sand, and they know your music and they're singing it at you. Mm-hmm. That's a hell of a thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you start to realize that those 45 minutes on stage, that's what heals you through the whole thing. Those 45 minutes, whatever sets you play, that's the pay. Mm-hmm. The money and all that stuff gets you by. But what really pays you is those moments on stage, those 45 minutes to an hour or whatever you're playing, that's whenever you really are just soaked in ecstasy. Because we walked off that stage and I was like, dudes, you could tell to everyone around him it's another Sunday at Sea Lakes. Mm-hmm. Another reggae Sunday is cool, but we're from New Mexico. We're some kids out of Burque who just dream. You watch Disney Channel and fucking movies and you see people playing on the beach and you're like, fuck, if I one day am playing on the beach in California, that's it for me. Like I made it, I feel like. And so we felt that coming off that stage, and then that's why I had this epiphany, like, man, every moment is really like that coming off stage. For you personally and for the whole band. Because we've had times where we're all like, especially on the road, you're looking at these dudes for fucking 2 weeks. They're right here sleeping next to you, fucking farting. We're all eating and fucking living together. Yeah. And you're really together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You never alone. And you're struggling too the whole time. So there are times where you're like, you just want to fucking kill everyone in this band. But then you play a good show.
It all goes away.
And you walk off feeling stupid. Because you're like, oh man, I forgot this is why we do this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Those 45 minutes are fucking everything. Now, anytime we play a show, I always take a big deep breath before we get on, and I'm like, man, everything that is pissing me off and shit, I'm going to leave it all on stage tonight right here because this is the time when I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it heals everything.
Yeah.
Anytime that I'm always like, if we're having tiffs in the band and stuff, I'm always like, it's cool. We got a show this weekend, and it's gonna be dope. And after that, how can you? Because you know too, you're like, we created that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like us guys did that.
Yeah.
So it's a vibe that we catch, and you kind of after a while, it humbles you. It's a humbling experience that you do every time.
Yeah.
But it takes a while to kind of settle into that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
It's crazy.
Dude, I think that the closest we played like to the beach was this place in San Diego, 710 Beach Club. I think
We played 710 too.
Yeah.
710 is fucking awesome.
And that night, same thing with the boys. So that dude, we got lucky. I forget the name of the band that opened up for us. Super good. Kind of stayed in touch with one of the dudes, and we were staying at like an RV park, like maybe 15, 20 minutes away. And I was like, dude, because I got on Google Maps and I saw where it was because we'd never been there before. I'm like, dude, I don't want to drive the RV into this little area because it's like a street.
Oh yeah, and then it goes right to the beach.
Yeah, and so I'm like, dude, I was like, I don't want to take the RV.
There's nowhere to park an RV.
Yeah, and so I was like, I got a hold of the drummer. I'm like, dude, is there any way you could backline your kit?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, dude, I'll bring my snare, my cymbals, my throne, everything. I said, I just need like your kick and toms and your stands. And he's like, oh, you're good. I was like, dude, thank you. And so we Ubered from the RV to there, and then they, checking IDs. I'm like, oh, they're not 21.
Yeah.
Neither of them are 21.
Yeah.
Like, it's just me. And they're like, okay, well, you can come in now because it's not busy. You guys can set up your stuff because we open for them. And then they're like, after that, depending on how busy we are, because it's like a little restaurant too.
Yeah, it's like it's cool as fuck.
Yeah. And so like we'll see if we can set up a little area that you guys can hang out in, so you don't have to wait outside if you guys want to stay and watch. And so like cool. It's like the next day we had to hit the road early, so we stayed for pretty much their whole show. But yeah, they made like a little area for the boys. Like as long as you guys stay in here, you can stay inside. Because they had like a little back alleyway.
Yeah, with all the stickers on it.
Yeah, and so they're like, you probably have to stay out there. And I was like, that sucks. Like if they have to wait out there, like we're just gonna go right away. Like that's messed up. I'm not gonna stay in here and drink beers and hang
Chill,
out. Yeah, and they're outside. And so yeah, they made a little area for them. We hung out. And I'm like, dude, but like yeah, you walk out and just like
beach is right there.
It's right there. I'm like, dude, that's so sick.
It's cool, right? Yeah, 710. We played that on our very first tour, and I remember thinking that too, walking up on there, because that whole boardwalk is right there too. As soon as you walk out, it kind of goes like this, and then the boardwalk's right there, and it goes all the way down to both beaches. And there's like always that dude with bubbles and people right there selling stuff, and it's cool. You feel like you're like, damn, we're from New Mexico.
Yeah.
And some people are out here to see us. That's a cool feeling.
Yeah. And like, we walked out. There's people, like, sun was coming down. People in the water surfing. I'm like, dude.
It's kick-ass, right? People
cool.
having bonfires on the beach and shit.
It was super cool.
Yeah, it's a wild feeling.
But yeah, man, it's cool to hear stories, and it's cool to hear how you say motive, and like you said, like those feelings you get on stage, or people like know your stuff, and
that's where that juice comes from.
Dude, and you play good, and you sing good, and then you're like, dude, and that's like a total like mental booster.
Oh.
Like for you, like, all right, like you said, this is what it's about. This is why we're doing it. Let's do it again, right?
Exactly, dude.
That's hard, dude. People lose it. I remember when we were probably maybe a year or two in, and I won't say who, but they're like, "Are you still having fun?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," and they're like, "Give it a few years." Right?
Yeah, wait.
Yeah. Right. And so I'm like,
fuck you, man.
That's kind of weird, right? I'm like, I don't think so, dude. But yeah, if you're not doing it for the right reasons, it becomes that. It becomes that, and they're like, "Oh, I get it," because it's like, we don't want to do this, we have to do this, and they're like, we have to go. We have a show this weekend, and we have to go play here.
It's gotta be, yeah.
Exactly. And it's not like, do we get to?
There's a honeymoon stage with everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it does get hard to stay after that, but every now and again you're like, oh shit, this is really dank.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling.
And it's like kind of hard, like we were talking about before. Like our niche was the brewery scene. Like we've done album releases at the El Rey.
I remember that. Right when you guys came about was when all these breweries started popping up in the...
And so that's like all we've done. Yeah, I got you. Sorry. And so yeah, that's what we always did. Pretty much acoustic. Probably for the first 2 years.
I remember that. I remember seeing you guys a full setup one day, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Probably
they got a full ass fucking setup right now. I'm about to do
It might have been
show.
an album release at Marble we did. It was probably like our first full setup show. And
Those are fun times.
oh yeah, dude, those are always yeah, Marble Downtown's a blast, always a blast. But yeah, so like we probably did it kind of wrong, right? Outside looking in, like we probably should have started like venue stuff, dude. Who's to say?
God, it's so hard to say.
But I'm like, dude, I was like, I wish, like, for, like, album releases, it's a blast, right? And it's, like, that feeling. You're like, dude, you're, like, stoked. That and, like, this is so sick.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you go play, like you said, a restaurant or brew show, and you're like, oh, it's not the same feeling, right? Way more toned down, way more mellow.
Yeah, no one's there to see a show.
Yeah.
So whenever you're done playing, everyone just kind of goes,
oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? Or they're just like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kind of shit. You're like, all right, well, hey, hope you guys are enjoying your meals.
Yeah.
If you guys know this number, sing along.
Yeah, dude. And then no one acknowledges you, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to do it anyways, right?
Yeah, dude.
But, dude, you got to laugh at it, too. Like, that's...
You got to take your licks sometime, and, you know, every show can't be the best one, but those are always a little bit hard.
Dude. But, yeah, I'm like, dude, I wish we could have more of those. And, dude, you guys are, like, you'd be like, no. You guys are always doing, like, the Launchpad shows and all that stuff, dude. It's super cool. That's why I wanted to know. That's why I wanted to have you on. Like, dude, like, how do you... I talk to people, like I said, I had Spanish Jimmy on, and I'm going to have Kenny on soon. Like, dude, I'd like to hear, like... Because everyone's different, right? Relationships in the band, individuals, you said a lot of different people, a lot of different emotions. Everyone's different, you know, emotionally. I just like to hear how people stay motivated, dude. And it is good to hear, like, you know, that's just... What you go through in music is like, that's life, right? Yeah, you have those moments, but then these moments bring you back, and you're like,
that's true.
That's what it is.
Ups and downs all the time.
Dude. Yeah, man. That's cool. But like I said, dude, I want to have you on to come, you know, shed some light on the stuff, dude, because, I mean, you guys are staying so busy. You've been doing it for so long now. I mean, not that long, but
10 years in March? Dude. That's a good
while, dude.
It's a long time. I was like, oh, I realized that at the beginning of the year, Chris was like, you realize that this next March will be our 10-year, dude. I was like, holy shit.
Dude.
But it's been a blast the whole time.
You guys throw a rage here, dude. 10-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah. I love the Launchpad. The guys want to do like maybe Sunshine or the El Rey, but I love the Launchpad. It's our home, you know, it's my favorite venue.
Yeah.
But we're I'll be honest, man, we do work really hard, and we are very, you know, there are times where we have to really pull ourselves up and try and keep going, because we're lucky enough to have, you know, been played all over the place, but still we're still very much on the come up. So I feel like a big part of our consistency and motivation comes from just having so much dope support, dude, in this town. All our friends and family and our fans, it's everything to us, because we've had shows where it's a last minute thing. Launchpad's like, hey, you guys want to play? And, you know, we'll be like, well, sure. And we think, yeah, no one's going to come. And then we pack the house, and people come and show us so much love that there were times when we're like, should we even do this shit anymore?
Yeah.
The fuck, it's COVID, it's just not, fuck are we doing? We got, you know, life comes up for people in the band, and, you know how it is, just life happens. And it becomes a very feasible option. It looks like the smart thing to do, just go, you know what, it's been a good run, but we're going to do this. And then you have these moments where people go, no, man, your music means so much to us. Or we play a show and it's just obvious, where you're like, damn, yeah, we have a lot of support. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we're fortunate enough to, in our early years, have cultivated such a strong, loyal fan base here in town and in the other states, and, you know, especially in California, that keep us just... If people want to hear your music, it's hard to be like, no, I'm not going to play.
I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck. When people are like, please come play again, or yo, man, you'll. The universe does funny shit where you're like, you know, I'm done with this, bro. Like, I'm not feeling it anymore. And we all get to that place as musicians. Then all of a sudden your phone goes, bing, and you look, and it's just some random person who's like, hey, man, I just wanted to let you know I was driving today. I was having a hard day. I listened to one of your songs and it made me feel a lot better. And I just want to say thanks for making music. And you're like, dude, God damn it, I was about to quit.
You got me back.
Yeah, like,
you got me.
People don't understand, you know, like everyone out there who supports music, you guys have no clue how that is everything, man. I've had times like that. there are a lot of people who have hit me up and DM'd me and been like, hey man, I just want to say, great job on the new song, or I really like your vibe, or went by this place and heard your song playing on the radio at some restaurant or something. And those little things that's what keeps us. That is the best fuel. Mm-hmm. Just knowing that people want to keep hearing our shit. Because after a while, you get to, as a musician, like you said, you can find restaurants who need a band to play. Mm-hmm. You can find a wedding who needs a band. But to hear people who want, to hear your music and want to hear you create new stuff and are excited for the new shit you're doing, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. I've seen those comments on like your page, dude. It's like, please tell me you're coming back to this whatever this year. And like, dude. Oh yeah, we're gonna try. I'm like, dude, that's so sick.
Like that it's like, on your worst day, you got to look around and be like, hey man, it's not like I work in a fucking coal mine. Mm-hmm. I'm blessed enough that my family's healthy. I got friends. I got 2 legs. What else am I gonna do? Watch TV?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so our biggest motivation, my biggest fuel, is just all our support, man. It's a beautiful thing, and it brings me to tears on multiple times where people, especially here in town, like you said, a lot of, people are coming up now, new bands are like, yo, before we started, we used to love to come watch you guys play, and it inspired us to start up our shit, and I remember being there. So it's like, that's all I've ever wanted, was to influence people. Mm-hmm. And
help with the come up.
Help, man. Just music needs to get made. Mm-hmm. If people, so it's just the support from our friends and family and our fans is everything. Mm-hmm. And I think that fans underestimate themselves, because I'm like that, but if they don't know me, I'm just a fan and another face in the crowd. No, fuck that, dude. Every single face in that crowd is a gold coin to me. I love every single, and I've even had a lot of people be like, you're really good about being with the fans, or like talking to people in the crowd, because man, you could do anything on a Saturday night. I know how it is. I work a 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. And you could do what you got maybe 48 hours to have fun and try and have some fucking sanity in life. Mm-hmm. And break away from the monotony of the 9 to 5 and the family and the drama that is just inevitable when it comes to life.
Yeah.
You got 2 days usually a week to do that, and these people are choosing to come and not only see me but spend money. Mm-hmm. To hear me fucking scream in a mic and fucking play music with my friends.
Yeah.
How could you not jump off stage and want to hug everyone in the crowd?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they could do anything with their time, and they're choosing to spend it watching me play. And then, coup de grace, they leave and go listen to my stuff on their, give me streams, or they, buy our merch and shit. It's like, damn, if that's not a blessing, I don't know what the hell is. Mm-hmm. So all the fans out there, fan appreciation is a huge thing for us, because fans underestimate themselves. Mm-hmm. Truly, man. And I'm not a humble fan either. Whenever we play with bands I'm the first one to be like, I'm gonna say hi to them when they get off the stage. People are like, I've had bands be like, are you in a band? Because I'm so like fan. I'm like, I love your band and I've listened to you so long. And then people be like, hey Myles, here's your artist pass. And they'll be like, oh, are you in a band? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh shit, I thought you were like a fan. And I'm like, I am. I am one, dude. That's fans are everything, bro.
Yeah.
To this day, and on my worst days, man, it's the fans and the friends and that get you by, keep you going. Mm-hmm. It's our biggest thing. We go out there and play, and we all sit in a room and write music every week, twice a week and stuff. But really, the motivation comes from everyone who wants to hear us play.
Yeah.
We feel like it's a duty to get out there and do that for them.
Yeah. Dude, 100%. And like you said, like that those weird shows where it's like a few people in the crowd, like you're probably jamming a solo, right? No one's clapping.
Yes.
And like, dude, every time like I've been at a place where they had someone like that, like solo, guitar, or whatever, and me having played music, you know what I mean? I'm like, I hear that, I'm like, what doesn't matter with you guys? Like, I know what it's like to be up there. Like, it sucks when no one claps or no one even like turns your way, right? And you're like, oh. And like you don't think like, oh, these guys are assholes, right? You just think, oh, I'm not good enough. Mm-hmm. You don't really think about like, their personality. Like, oh, I'm not good enough or whatever it is. I'm like, no, dude, some people are just what it is.
Yes.
But But yeah, so every time we're out and it's just quiet after, someone's done with the song, I'm like, dude, I'll go out of my way and I'll stand up and clap and I'm like,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
or even after the crowd, be like, hey man, that was a sick set.
Yeah.
I know no one clapped, but I loved it the whole time.
Yeah.
Like something at least.
Yeah, it's a little motivation.
Yeah,
because if not, you're like, because I know the feeling too. Like you feel like you're wasting your time, or what is what it is. You know what I mean? But
and you played those shows. I played those shows where you show up, no one's there. On top of that, you play awful for some reason for no one, and then you're feeling like shit, you're broke as fuck, have got no food in your stomach, no gas in the tank, and you're just feeling like shit. And one person comes up and goes, "Dude, I really like that a lot. What is your Instagram? Let me follow you right now. That was cool. Yeah. That little solo you played, I fucking loved that." And that paragraph of a sentence was the whole payment for the night. And it's worth it sometimes.
Yeah, 100%.
It's fucking worth it sometimes. 100%. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, dude, and music's strong, dude. I think I've told this story once on the couple podcasts I've recorded so far, but like, I had a buddy. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what song it was or band, and I listened to a lot of different stuff, right? And I listened to the song like, dude, I told a buddy like, you gotta listen to this song, right?
Yeah.
I played it for him. He's like, oh, it's good. Like, what? Like, this is amazing, right?
Like, no, it's not.
Yeah, like, no, it's
really good.
Yeah. And he's like, dude, I don't play music. He's like, you know what it's like to feel that.
Yeah.
Like, you feel the music. You don't just listen to music. I'm like, oh, dude, I never thought of it that way. Like, there's a lot of emotions in music and playing, right? And
it really is, man.
You have, happy, sad. You have everything. It's an emotional roller coaster playing music, and then I'm like, dude, that is right. Like, I probably do hear it different than most people because I'm listening to the words and like what this dude might be singing about. I'm like, dude, like I might have felt that and be like, dude, I get it, right? And this guy's like, yeah, it's good, but I'm like, maybe not resonate with it or can't connect to it at all. But there's the songs that people do connect to. It'll like change their lives, dude. You know what I mean? And it's music's a very powerful thing. But sometimes you forget that.
It is hard, dude. And I always say this: music is from heaven. Show business is from hell. The devil runs show business for sure.
Dude, that's deep.
And that's what gets you fucked up. Is you play one show and then you're like, oh, that was kick ass. I want to do that 7 more times. Let's book those. And then you set these expectations for every show to be this way. Then that disappointment comes in. Then there's the pay. Then there's the, the inner fucking workings of the scene. Then there's all these different facets of show business that it breaks you down, man. Mm-hmm. And it stays hard to be connected to that little root of just loving to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's, I think, the biggest disease for musicians is just, I don't know if it's taking themselves a little too serious or just getting caught up in, like, achieving goals instead of just making music and letting people hear it kind of thing, and taking the opportunities as they come. It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
Because you want to go.
And I feel like if you're not focusing on goals and, like you may have goals, but you're not like, this is what we're going to try and do until it happens, right? Mm-hmm. If you just go and jam, like, usually those goals just come naturally.
Yes, man.
Right? It's like you make goals because if you don't have goals, there's really nothing to shoot for, right? So you have goals, but you're not like, we're going to do everything we can to hit this. You should take a step back and just keep doing what you're doing. Yes. And then you look back, you're like, oh, shoot, we did that. We did it.
And no one's perfected the craft. Even the, idols of those Jimi Hendrix and people, like, no one's perfected how to be a musician and how to make your way in this world playing music.
Yeah.
No one has done it in a way that's like, that's the way. You just got to kind of go and hope for the best. It's crazy, man. Yeah. Make sounds and go. One of my musician friends put it to me. He was like, it's crazy because back, like, way long ago when there was musicians, you just played for anything. To have an instrument was a hell of a thing, and then to know how to play it was crazy. So you would just go to towns and play, and people would give you whatever. Or you go, hey, can I stay with you tonight and I'll play? Or that's just how people got by, and it's still the same way now. Even though we have a lot of comforts and we got tour vans and all these things, it's still that same fucking way, man. You're playing for what you can, where you can, for who you can, and just hoping for the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And trying to, I guess, soak in every moment.
Yeah. And dude, if your heart's in it, and it's a matter of time.
I feel like it is. It's true. And usually there's always a little bit of effort, but for the most part, it comes pretty easily. You do what you want to do. So if you want to play, you're going to play.
Yeah.
You're going to find a way to play.
And then, even in playing, you're going to progress.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say you're
Get
not...
better no matter what.
Yeah, let's say you're not trying to learn new things, but the more you play, you're like, oh. And that's what I'll do, like, on Kit. Like, I watch a ton of videos, right? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I might try that, try and learn that, or whatever it is. But then I'm like, I find myself, like, I forget about that. And then I just play more and more and more. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, I just did that. That was weird. I didn't practice that. It just kind of happened.
I fucking did it, yeah.
The more you play, the more you just, and that's the thing, like going back to like just not stopping. And I feel like for COVID, for a lot of people, not just musicians, like it became a time where there wasn't anything to do but like, work what you can and just go home and, everyone's trying to stay safe and what it is. And then you get like lazy, you get comfortable and you get lazy and like, dude, I kind of, actually I don't mind this too much. This is kind of nice, a break. And like for like big, like for that, because like you said, we were like before that, dude, we were both so busy. And then when like the first 6 months of COVID, I was like, dude, this is nice.
You're like, oh.
Dude, weekends?
Because it feels like an excuse. It's like, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like it's like Simon that I don't want to. I can't play.
Yeah, sorry.
So I gotta just chill this weekend.
Yeah, dude. And so I was like, this is so nice. And then like after that, like maybe the year, I was like, oh, dude, I didn't realize how blessed we were. Right? To have shows.
To play like that, exactly.
Yeah. And I'm like,
dude,
dude,
this
this
can I get a show?
sucks.
And people are like, no. Or they're like, yeah, I'll give you $10. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man.
And so I was like, dude, after that, like we were all like, dude, like taking a step back and like, dude, we're like, why do we make these shows like this where we have to do them? Like, no, dude, we get to do them, right? And that's, I mean, I guess when you're busy, that's kind of hard to remember of the why.
It is, bro. That's just the human nature to always be. We're so confused all the time.
Yeah.
But it comes naturally too for like people who want to, I call it like the sickness. Like once you have it, playing music, it's hard to put it down. Mm-hmm. And even if you put it down, you're always kind of looking over your shoulder back at it like, oh, it'd be nice to play a show. There was like 2 years of my life where I wasn't playing in between Morbid Machine and this band where I felt like that. I felt like every show I went to, I was just kind of like in the crowd going like, damn. Like I feel like 80% happy, but 20% of me is like, fuck, I want to play. Yeah. Or I'm like, I'm having fun stacking checks and grinding all day and stuff, but then I kind of like look over, I'm like, man, I want to fucking play. You just can't ever quit it. Mm-hmm. So you have to do some type of something. Mm-hmm. Always, you have to like have a little taste of it. Yeah. No matter what, it's an addiction that you just can never 100% fucking shake.
Me and Spanish Jimmy were talking about like going to shows like now, like it almost kind of like being on the stage kind of like tainted us as musicians.
It does, dude.
And in two ways, like we both said like. The being in the crowd, and you're like, dang, I wish I was on that stage.
The ache of being like, I'm watching something that I wish I could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then, what was the other reason? I think it might have been like hearing mistakes or something.
Oh shit, that's hilarious because when you were talking just now, I was thinking that I'm like, I always will be like jamming to a thing and I'm like, oh, there was a sour note. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you just kind of hear it. Dude. You can't not hear it.
Yeah, and like, dude, like because.
Or like there's feedback in that front monitor.
Yeah, dude. Like last month, me and Otto went and saw 2 amazing shows. We flew to Arizona. We saw Molly Crew, Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett.
Damn.
And then 2 weeks after that, oh dude. Then 2 weeks after that, we flew to Vegas. Both times, my uncle and auntie. We flew to Vegas and saw Aerosmith.
Damn.
And I'm like, dude, like now we're debt free, all this stuff. I'm like, let's go see some shows. And now everything's opening back up. I'm like, let's go. And so anytime a show comes, my uncle and auntie will text us, hey, this person's coming to town. And they had seen Aerosmith maybe the year before that at the same place, and like it was killer. Like they killed still. And they're like, do you guys want to go next time? I'm like, dude, tell us when. And so they said, hey, it's on this day. I'm like, that's my birthday. That's my 30th birthday, dude. Let's go. I was like, I would love to do that. I'm like a big Vegas guy, because I don't really like. What's funny is I don't really like care for crowds, Big crowds. Like shows are fine, you know what I mean? But I don't like
being in the crowd.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I was like, going to a show in Vegas, like maybe like walking the strip, and it's like all crazy, chaotic.
Yeah.
Probably give me an anxiety attack or something.
Yeah, I feel that.
But I'm like going to a show, I'm like, oh, I love music, so I'm like, heck yeah, we'll go to any show. And so we went, dude, and even Aerosmith, I'm like, oh, I heard that. You know,
hear a little.
Yeah.
The mic, you're like, hey, could you turn on the?
I heard that.
Yeah, the monitor's a little hot.
Yeah, and so like, and I was like, I laughed to myself, like, dude, that's what we were talking about. Like, you can't not, dude. You can't not. And they killed, and I'm like, dude, they played like if they were young.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was amazing. And then,
Corazon, man.
Dude, yeah. And I'm like, I love Aerosmith since I was little. And dude, with the total bummer with the Motley Crue Def Leppard show. Dude, Motley Crue blew it, dude.
Really?
It was so bad.
Oh, no.
So bad.
Vince Neil?
Oh, yeah.
Vince, huh? I knew it would be Vince.
Dude.
He's all swollen.
Dude.
He just can't, his hips are all stiff now.
Dude.
And he's got no neck. And he's up there trying to fucking,
dude.
It's just too much, bro.
It was like every few words he would get in. So
and he's very out of breath. He's very huffy and puffy.
Yeah.
I know. I've seen some people roasting him.
I've seen the videos, but I thought maybe he's gotten better.
Girls. Yeah. He's kind of like trying to fucking.
So like I had to sit back and like listen. Where are we at in the song? Oh, the chorus. Boom, I'll sing along, right? But like in between that, like.
And Nikki Sixx is just a fucking. Dude. He's just like an old leather purse up there, just fucking trying to play. He's just,
funny.
But
I'm like,
his face is all stiff.
Yeah, but I was like, dude, we're still here. It's still Motley Crue. It's sick.
Yeah.
But like Tommy Lee and Mick Mars killed. And I'm like, dude, and then Mick Mars, like, he just,
Mick Mars, who it is.
He just, like, left the band, so now they're having...
Oh, no way. That's crazy. Well, fuck, he's older than them, too.
Yeah, and sick. He's been doing all this time. Sick, dude. It's like, and him and Tommy Lee, dude, like, they killed. Like, it was... So, his drums were good, his guitar is killer, but dude, it was... And then, Def Leppard headlined, and like, dude, those guys are way older than Motley Crue, and they killed.
One arm still drumming?
Yeah, dude. And I was like, dude, like, because I wonder, I'm like, cause I don't really follow them like on their Instagram pages and stuff.
Those '80s bands, I'm not really like super listen to them on my off time, but they always put on a good show. Queensryche plays here like 9 times a year, dude. They're always in New Mexico, and every time I see them, they're really good every time.
Yeah,
they put on they squeeze into their leather pants, and they get up there and fucking rock it with their bandanas on their wrists, and it's awesome.
The good old days, dude.
Hell yeah, man.
Do you have a favorite show you guys have ever done?
I would say, oh man, there's a lot. I would say, God, probably honestly for me, that Sea Lake show that we did a couple months, it was about 4 months ago, 5 months ago now. And only because, man, it felt like after COVID and everything, everyone hit this rift of like, it was almost like you hit rocks in a boat. You're just trying to keep things together. And then after that show was such a humbling, awesome experience to kind of look around and go, wow, man, we've done good. For some kids from Albuquerque, this isn't bad. Because when we got there, we're humble dudes. We're going out there, and where they filmed the Badfish video is, I could throw a football to it. It's like, we're in California, in the mecca of our scene. Mm-hmm. And we have legit fans that live there, that we don't really know, that just are true fans of our music, coming to see us. There's this, and we're showing up kind of just like thinking that we ain't shit, you know what I mean? Just like, we're just happy to be here kind of vibe. Yeah. And we show up to a full crowd singing our music, and a bunch of people out there being like, don't even buy food. We brought a bunch of shit to barbecue for you guys. Dude. And we have beer here, like, we love your guys' music, and we're some fucking dudes from New Mexico. Yeah. You know what I mean? Who I had been to California one time before touring there. It's to go to Disneyland when I was like 13. Yeah. So, you're like, it just was such an awesome fucking... All of us kind of walked off stage and went like...
That was it.
This is dope, man. Yeah. Like, all right. Like, good one, kind of to the universe. Like, all right, we see. Yeah. That was fucking cool, man. And and then also too, like... Sometimes the world throws you a bone and everything falls into place exactly the way it should. Everything about that show was awesome. All our friends and family were there. New fans that we didn't know we had were there. All the musicians that we know there, that they didn't have to come out. Drove all around just to come see us. We had bands that I admired that I didn't even know knew us come and were out there. We had a bunch of new fans that we met. Weather was great. It was just amazing. And we all kind of sat around our tour bus before we left. Sunset on the beach, just being like, damn. If this isn't it, what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd say that one probably shines the brightest right now for me, but we also do these shows every year. We've done them the last like four years. COVID fucked up one of them. But I work at a dispensary called High Desert Relief. Shout out to High Desert Relief too.
Yeah.
Best dispo here in New Mexico. But I worked there for a long time. We do a big 420 show with them every year. And they're fucking kick ass. Every single one of those shows is awesome. This last one, we, sold it out completely, plus had a line around the fucking building. Mike Gertis and them built a weed gun. We put like 3 ounces of weed in it, and they're blowing giant weed rings at the crowd. We fucking had, back-to-back people. We were pouring balloons on the crowd. All our friends were there. We filmed a bunch of shit. It's just those shows are awesome because that's like it almost feels like a house party at the launch pad. Because it's all the launch pad people are so kick ass, dude. Mm-hmm. Joe and Roman and Regina, all of them are so cool. And then everyone in the scene here is awesome. We do nothing but local bands and DJs. We have vendors and artists that are local, and it's just nothing but Albuquerque people. There's nothing else but just local art and music. And we fucking tear it up when we all get stoned. And we do it every year. Now it's a yearly thing that we do. I think this next year we're going to do the 22nd. It's a couple days after. I think it's a Saturday after 420. But I love those shows. Dude. Love those shows.
And I feel like that maybe makes it a little more fun because it is in your hometown.
Yeah, that's what's cool. Is it's like, it's friends, family, and fans. Everything you want in one building. You know what I mean? And I live 10 minutes up the road. Yeah. So it's cool as hell. I love it. It's kick-ass.
That's cool, dude. Do you guys have do you have a worst show?
Oh man, let's see. For me personally, I would say my worst show that I think of and I'm like, oh, it makes me cringe. Mm-hmm. This was like maybe last year, 2 years ago almost now. We go out to California. I think it was for the Sea Lake show. No, maybe it was our last tour, but we're out there playing a couple shows and our friend Dred Kennedy, who's a really good friend of ours, kick-ass musician, amazing dude, writes the best music I've ever heard. He's playing with our friend Josh Heinrichs, who's a huge influence to us and the reggae scene. Mm-hmm. He's one of the staple musicians in the reggae scene. They're playing at the Viper Room on Sunset Strip. So it's a legendary event. Everyone's fucking played there. From Miles Davis to Motley Crue. Everyone's played there. So, I'm like, this is where River Phoenix died. I'm all excited to go there. It's going to be sold out. I already know all the bands on there are kick-ass. Josh Heinrichs is headlining. All our friends are going to be there. Let's go, man. So, we're out there. And then again, humble Miles and humble us. I'm just thinking, we're just happy to be here. We're just excited to be around. Well, Kennedy, being our homie he's like, you ready to get on stage tonight, man? And in my head, I was excited to be real. I really was. I was like, fuck yeah, I am. The Viper Room with Josh Heinrichs and my homies, yes. Mm-hmm. Never been more ready. I don't know what the fuck happened to me. I don't know if all of a sudden, kind of as I'm watching them play and I'm realizing I'm about to get up there, I don't know if I just to this day I think about it and I'm like, what the fuck happened to you, bro? But Kennedy, he's on stage and I'm looking around, it's a sold out Viper Room, which it's a small room, but it's a Viper Room. Yeah. It's we're gonna get Myles from the Riddims up here near our friend. I get on stage and it was crazy because the whole time I'm feeling it, right? I walk on stage feeling like a boss. I'm coming up, I'm like, yes. As soon as my hand touched that mic, and we're out there for some days. I had been partying and drinking and stuff, whatever. As soon as I grabbed that mic, I shit the bed. So fucking bad. I don't know what the fuck came over me, but I sang out of tune. I sang off beat. I sang just who the fuck knows what he's singing up there. And oh man, dude. And I was like, oh no. I got off stage and I'd never been so embarrassed in my life. I was like, wow, man. I've been listening to Josh Heinrich since I'm 13. 13 years old, bro. I'm 28 at the time. I'm on stage with him at the Viper Room on Sunset Strip in L.A. on a Saturday night, and I shit the fucking bed so bad. And I got off stage in my bed. Donovan and fucking Kevin and P, they're like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, I don't know, dude. And I drove the next day. I think we left home, and I remember just I drive along, right? So I'm driving these long stretches. I drove for like 8 hours, and the whole time I was just sitting there like, I can't fucking believe you did that. Like, I just was so embarrassed, dude. That was my worst show for sure. I'd have to say, which is funny, I think our next worst show kind of coincides with that. Right before that, we had went to go play this kind of small setup at a friend of ours who owns this like company. It's like a food company, but he does stuff with bands, and he's a really cool guy. They're great people, but we drove kind of out of the way to go do this thing, and he set up his whole thing to record this like acoustic backyard poolside thing, and the whole key was that he like sets up his iPhone live. So his iPhone plugs into this huge elaborate setup, right? He was all drunk before we started playing and jumped in the pool with his new iPhone. So we couldn't do the straight, and we like not only drove way out of the way to do this, but we had to lug all of our equipment up this like huge hill, and it was just like a huge hassle. And after we set it all up and we're ready to go, and then he jumps in the pool with his phone in his pocket, and our other friend in this band who was there to kind of help with the setup was just like, you could tell he was like pissed. He's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, they literally just drove out here and did all this for literally nothing.
Yeah, dude.
Like, now you guys can play if you want, but just to literally play for us, like, it was, the band was pissed, and we were like, fuck. And then we drove straight to the fucking Vibe Room, and I shit my pants on stage and fucked it up. But to this day, I'm like, I'm going to redeem myself for that night. It puts this, like, fire in your belly where you're like, fuck that. Yeah. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to do something. One day I'm going to get up there and do this again. Like, I'm going to redeem myself again. So that was, to this day, I think about that, and I'm like, ooh, no. Like, dude. it was a bad one. Dude. Very embarrassing moment for me.
Yeah. No, I think two come to mind right away for me and the boys, or just for me. We did, it's in Rama, New Mexico, Road to Riches.
Okay.
It's like some big festival out there at this guy's house. Cool. It's pretty big. Bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I was like, oh, sick, there's a bunch of people here. That was when I just first started wanting to play kit instead of the cajon, right? Yeah. So on tour, I'm not going to go play venues with the cajon. There's no way.
Yeah.
So I probably wasn't as comfortable as I am now. And I was like, oh, dude, first show of tour.
Why not? Yeah.
You know, I set up the kit, dude, and I forget what song it was. Maybe I didn't have a monitor, so I couldn't really hear. I'm not going to use that excuse. Let's say I did.
Same thing. I was like, I've been drinking and partying a little bit, but
yeah, dude. And so let's
sometimes you just fuck up.
Yeah, and so I'm like, let's say I had a monitor, I could hear perfect. Dude, okay. I don't know. It was like a little.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm like something simple, but I'm like, I feel like a robot off, like playing it, and the boys were like,
what the hell are you doing?
And I'm like, I couldn't usually, I couldn't usually I can correct and just come off, and then okay, but when they're back in, dude, I tried 4 times to correct. You're making it worse, dude. Yeah, and they're like, what? And they kept looking back, and so finally I just stopped and I just did this something way simple,
real down low shit.
Yeah, and then we left that show, and the same thing. They were all like, you good?
What's wrong with you, man? Yeah, oh, man.
And I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. And then, I would say as a collaborative band mess up. Not a mess up, we were young. It was the first time we played in Flagstaff. I forget the name of the place. But when people hear us, I guess our first, album was, or maybe even our first and second album, is, way different than what we sound like live. It sounds like more country, right?
Yeah.
And it's maybe a little harder live. And so we sent in stuff to, I'm forgetting the name of the place in Flagstaff. Cool bar. Pretty big stage, maybe Launchpad size stage. And they had a band there from Tennessee, a duo of husband and wife. Super good, dude. We opened up for them, all of us, dude. Because we always, for fun, on stage, we'll, if I'm not messing up, I hear the boys mess up, I'll, yell, 1, that's 1. Yeah. And then we'll laugh and keep going. Oh, that's 2. Dude,
that's 16.
Yeah, dude, that's how it was. And then afterwards, dude, what was that? And these guys come on. They've been on a road for however long, kill it, and like, dude, we suck. Like, that was horrible, dude. And then, like, it's kind of like that thing, like, you redeem yourself, and we went back.
Gotta take your licks sometimes, man.
Dude. And, or maybe we only played there once. But there's, it was the one time we played there, because there was all this gear next to the stage, like, stacked up. And I was like... I want
to say it's the green something.
The green room.
The green room. All right,
yeah.
Great. The green room in Flagstaff.
Yeah,
I played there.
That was good.
And
so like, we get there early, because I was like, I want to, scope it out and stuff, unload a little bit, and then, like next to the stage off to the side, there was like all these road boxes and stuff. And then I asked the guy, the
apartment
manager,
up there and stuff.
Yeah. I asked the dude, I'm like, is this all the gear from the band we're opening for? He goes, oh no, that's next weekend. That's all the gear from the band playing next weekend. And I was like, dude, who's playing here next weekend? It's like Census Fail.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, the guy who was in the band, he works here. And I was like, he's here right now? He goes, he's not here right now. And I was like, dude, I would have been like, dude. Yeah.
Yes.
And so, it's been like statute of limitations type stuff, I guess we'll say. But there was a pick on one of the road cases. And Tyler, the middle brother, walked by. And he was all, he goes, hey, dude.
Zoinks, yo.
He's like, here, I know you love Census Fail. I got you a pick off their case. And I was like, dude, I still have it. But I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Like, it's like those moments. Like, dude, we're in the state, like, next weekend Census Fail, and here we are. What are we doing here?
Do same thing at Sea Legs. The weekend before us, I think Dane Cook was doing like a comedy set on stage or some shit wild like that.
Dude.
Like something wild like that. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Like, it's crazy. But dude, music is those moments sometimes really humble you, dude, because the setting of music is fun. You're usually at a bar. People are usually drinking. It's even if you're usually on a bad night. You walk off and you're like, we fucked up. But everyone else goes, I think but the bad nights or whenever you go, we sounded awful, and people go, well, you've been bad. You go, damn, we were awful. Yeah. If they said we were like, we did.
Because usually it's like, we didn't hear anything. We didn't hear
those nights are worse where you get off and you're like, you kind of kick yourself and go, we sucked tonight. And usually people go, nah, dude, I didn't hear it at all. That's the usual. But when you go, oh, man, we sucked tonight, people go, it's all right. Yeah. You go, oh, fuck, we
Don't
really
worry,
did suck tonight.
Yeah,
oh,
dude.
Man. Those shows are very humbling, bro.
Yeah. Man, that's funny, though. But, dude, we'll close it up. I don't want to keep you too late. I know you got that
Appreciate
drive
you,
back, dude.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, I always end it with one question, though. For you personally, would you rather go back in time to your younger self? Okay? Knowing what you know now.
Okay. Ooh.
Knowing what you know now, would you go back and give your younger self advice to help get to where you are now, right? Or would you take the hard road that you've had so far and be able to pass it on to either future kids or the next generation coming up in music? What would you do?
Oh man.
And it's hard because you can say, oh, if I went back and gave myself what I know now, how much further would I be? But then you're like, but that made me that kind of made it who it was.
Selfishly, I want to say I'd go back and grab myself by the cheeks like Adam Sandler grabs that dude and yeah, exactly. You just go. I want to say that, but I think I would take the hard road for two reasons. One, because I think that my younger self would still be too much of a fucking idiot to hear that advice and actually do it.
Yeah.
Even if I heard it from my own older self, I'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, type shit. So I feel like probably not. And also, too, now getting older as a musician especially, I mean, 30s, to me, I feel like 30's young. Mm-hmm. A lot of people feel different, but to me, 30's young.
Yeah.
But musician-wise, when you've been playing since you're 12, that's you're fucking in it, man. We've almost been doing this 2 decades. So I feel battle-hardened for music. So I think that I would take that hard road only because sometimes some musicians, and I hope that this isn't me, but some musicians take all the licks and then the people they influence do what they wanted to. Like Sublime is always talking about this band called the Ziggins and this other band. And I was like always thinking to myself, who the fuck are these guys? And I would watch this Sublime documentary all the time. He was always talking about the Ziggins and this other band, Bert and something, or I don't know. I looked them up, and they're pretty good. They're like these punk bands out of fucking California. They're pretty damn good. But they never, made it obviously where they wanted to go or where most musicians want to, but they influenced Bradley, you know what I mean, from Sublime. So my hopes are that if I don't ever get to live my personal dreams, that somehow my experience or whatever I cultivate from this musical journey, if I can influence someone else who will, you know, if I'm not the one who's like, man, I actually did my goal and I got to be everything I wanted to, maybe at least someone could go, yo, I'm that person and I was influenced by Myles Chavez of the Riddims. No one ever heard of that guy, but that's what got me started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think probably I would want to end up one of those old, wise, kind of fucking, like the Vietnam vets that you see there just kind of like, and they just got all this wisdom on their face, but musically. So I think I'll probably, all right, I guess I'll take the hard road up.
Dude.
I don't think younger Myles is smart enough to go to listen, dude. I'd probably be stunned to like, he said some really good advice, and I forgot.
I don't remember what he said.
I don't remember what he said, but I feel like he wanted me to do this.
That's funny. I never thought about that. That's hilarious. I probably wouldn't listen either.
Right? We were wilding, man.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. But yeah, well, there it is. We'll close it up.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Dude, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, man. Thank you guys for listening.
Episode 9, Who's Friends Podcast, Mr. Myles Chavez.
Thank you guys, man.
Whenever this video gets released, I'll make sure and tag Myles' personal Instagram, Facebook, and stuff, as well as the Riddims and all our upcoming stuff. Follow him, go see his show, be inspired.
Yes, please, check us out. We're on everything.
He's on everything.
Everything.
But like he said, you know, if someone took something from this podcast, we hope it's that the fans communicates their love of the music a little bit more.
Please, don't be shy.
Because it influences musicians more than you actually think.
Absolutely, man. You guys are the fuel for us.
There it is.
Heck yeah, man. Thank you guys for listening.
Have a good night, guys.
Love y'all.
Peace.